Mr. Willis, page 775, section 26.3, insects and their relatives.
What page is that?
775. Okay. We're talking about class Insecta. That's the name of this class. Arthropods make up about 3/4 of all animal species, and about 80% of arthropods are insects.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, what that means is that basically insects make up most of the animals on the earth. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of different species, millions of different species. This is showing a grasshopper, and it's got some different parts that we need to know. All insects have 3 body regions: the head, the thorax, the middle body region, and the abdomen is the back region. Many insects have compound eyes and simple eyes, like the grasshopper. The compound eye can see in all directions and can detect movement very well. The simple eyes on the top sense lightness and darkness.
So a grasshopper has 4 eyes?
It actually has 3 simple eyes, so 5 total. It doesn't really show it here, but there's one in the middle.
But they have some crazy vision going on.
Yeah, they do. They have 2 sets of wings, fore wings and hind wings that help them fly. Insect flight really wasn't well understood until they invented high-speed cameras that could catch how they flew. They didn't really understand how it worked.
Don't listen to me.
Grasshoppers
Quiet, please.
class Insecta. The largest group of the phylum Arthropoda. Most grasshoppers have 2 pairs of wings. As a grasshopper flies, the wings push down to give the insect lift and to move it forward. The grasshopper keeps moving when the wings push up. Insects have 6 legs, and by looking at them, you can sometimes tell how it moves about and what it eats. Grasshoppers have 2 compound eyes and 3 simple eyes. Insects have 1 pair of antennae, which is used to sense vibrations, food, and pheromones in the environment. The spiracles open a series of tracheal tubes that carry oxygen throughout the insect's body. In grasshoppers, wastes, which are in the form of dry crystals of uric acid, are excreted through the Malpighian tubes. The structure insects used for hearing is a flat membrane called a tympanum. Grasshoppers have a complex nervous system that includes a brain and several ganglia that act as nerve control centers for the body sections in which they are located.
Graham.
Do all insects emit pheromones?
I can't say all, because I don't know, but yeah, most of them communicate that way. Especially the best pheromone users are moths. Moths can communicate with one another through the pheromones. You can find each other in the dark.
You said moths?
Moths, yeah. The insect legs have a variety of functions. They have claws for digging in the soil or under bark, sticky pads for walking on walls and upside down on things. Bees have legs adapted for collecting pollen. They have little cups and hairs to hold the pollen onto their legs. Grasshoppers have legs adapted to jump. Fleas can jump real far. And skimming over the surface of water for a lot of flying insects. You can see they have a variety of mouth parts too. Here's the siphoning mouth part that you see in some butterflies. Butterflies and moths have that, where they stick it down into flowers and suck. And then houseflies and fruit flies have this fleshy end that acts like a sponge to mop up food. So they stick it in some liquid and it sucks it up.
Who's that?
Mosquitoes, leafhoppers, fleas, stink bugs, they have a real sharp needle to stick into skin and suck blood. And then grasshoppers, beetles, ants, bees, earwigs have mandibles, which are like pinchers. And they can cut apart leaves and things and bite and cause pain. And so they use it as a defense. Yes?
Stink bugs can bite you?
Stink bugs can sting you. Can
I've never had
pierce you
I've
like
never had
a
stink bug bite me before.
like a mosquito.
I've never had a stink bug do that.
I don't know. I don't know if they could do that.
Bro, what's that
to
bug
humans,
with the
but
white
they
eyes
could
and
do
the claws that bite you? Green.
it. White eyes?
Praying mantis.
Wide. That praying mantis.
Praying
Was
mantis.
that in the last category?
Mandibles, yes.
Okay.
Praying mantis have mandibles, yes.
So when a
White eyes.
mosquito bites you, how many mouth parts is going in your skin? One.
Yeah, one long needle that's hollow and it sucks up just like a syringe.
Like a
There
straw.
shows like 3.
Yeah, it depends upon the organism, what it has. This is showing, some of these things are antennas and feelers and such that it can sense its prey.
I already know
Show the pictures and all the words.
I already saw the PowerPoint.
That's
Hey,
from the AP Biology book. Listen, breaking down all the different types of mouth parts.
Well, we dissected a grasshopper.
We're gonna look at one up close. I got some preserved ones.
We dissected one in the 8th grade.
We're not gonna dissect one, but we're gonna look at it up close.
Why don't you zoom out so you can get all the words at one time?
Andrew, don't
Just
look
let
at
him
He's
control.
on like,
Yeah, dude,
one letter
I mean-
at a time.
Do you know how to zoom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright. Shut up.
Insect wings
An object.
form of a thin double membrane made of chitin, and they have rigid veins that give the wings strength. Here it shows the wings of a butterfly, and this shows the complete metamorphosis of a butterfly. Metamorphosis that's complete goes in 4 stages that you have to know. You have to know the order of this. Hint, hint. Egg, larva, pupa, adult.
We did that in 1st grade. We got
Complete
paper plates.
metamorphosis.
We got paper plates and had like cotton as the egg, and then the larva, and then the pupa and the adult.
The larva is the caterpillar in the case of a butterfly.
That's fine.
The pupa is the cocoon, and the adult is the butterfly. That's complete metamorphosis. Video footage.
During complete metamorphosis, an insect undergoes a series of developmental changes from an egg to an adult. Insects begin life as a fertilized egg. The egg hatches into a larva, the free-living, worm-like stage of an insect, often called a caterpillar. Larvae eat huge amounts of food to supply the energy needed for tremendous growth. The pupa stage of insects is a period of reorganization in which the tissues and organs of the larva are broken down and replaced by adult tissues. After a period of time, a fully formed adult emerges from the pupa.
You can see there are similarities here. You see the segmented body here, and the segmented body here.
Basically just a caterpillar with wings.
So how many?
Yeah, kind of.
How many
Nice.
insects?
Without legs.
And it has
Do complete metamorphosis?
All of them, or
Half of them. I don't know the exact percentage, but many of them do it that way. The other way is called incomplete metamorphosis, and the rest of them do this. They either do complete or incomplete. They do one or the other. This is egg, nymph, adult. And sometimes there are up to 20-something nymph stages, but usually there's only about 3 or 4 or 5. And these nymph stages look like the adults, they're just smaller versions. And each time the organism molts, molting, remember, is shedding the exoskeleton. Each time the exoskeleton is shed, it grows a little bit and changes a little bit to get more like the adult. And so it'll go through a variety of nymph stages.
You use nymphs for fishing, catching trout.
Yeah, but yeah, little small grasshoppers.
when in Maine, I had a chameleon as a pet, and we used to feed him nymphs until he got bigger, and then we would feed him adult caterpillars.
Oh yeah. You can order these for fish food too.
Delta. What did you say? Chameleon.
Now, honeybees, ants, termites have group living, and they divide their there are organisms into three types. You have your workers, which go around building the colony, collecting food, that sort of thing. You have your drones, which go around mating. They're basically mating machines, male mating machines. And you have your queen, which is a female that mates with the drones and lays all the eggs. And then the eggs become either worker. Most of the eggs become workers. Some become drones, and one might become a new queen that forms a colony elsewhere. Ants have kind of this caste system too. Termites have this caste system too, and they all work together to form a successful group. I'm sure you're familiar with that kind of thing. Honeybees have evolved a communication system known as a waggle dance, where the honeybee makes a movement, will find food, fly back to its hive, and do a dance. And the dance it does in the hive communicates to all the other bees where the food is and how far it is away. And what they do is they come back to the hive and they waggle. And the angle that they do the waggle, away from up and down, away from the vertical, tells the other bees the angle that the food is away from the sun. And so the other bees sense that angle and then fly away from the sun at the same angle and find the food source.
Pretty awesome.
And the length that the bee waggles determines the distance to the food. And the scientists determined this by having taking bees that had found food elsewhere and having them do the dance in a different hive, and those other bees would go to the wrong spot. And so they determined how the dance works. It's very cool research. So they call it the waggle dance.
What's the round dance?
Well, what they do is they waggle, and then they come around and they do it again over and over. And the other bees sense it, not with their eyes by looking at it, but by touching their body to the bee that's doing the waggle.
Oh, okay.
So that bee that's doing the waggle just does it over and over and lets all the other bees touch them while they're dancing. And then the other bees fly off.
Do they do
to
it
find
every
food.
time they get back?
If they find food.
Do they usually have hives, like lots of hives close together, or are they just separate? Like one hive here, one hive here?
Yeah, they're separate. They're separate.
The round dance in honeybees indicates that food is nearby. A figure 8 or waggle dance means the food is far away. The orientation of this dance describes the nectar's location in relation to the sun. For example, the food is in a straight line from the hive to the sun. The food is on the opposite side of the hive from the sun. And the food is 60 degrees to the left of the sun.
Huh.
Those bees are smart.
Now what if it's cloudy?
Oh my god.
Good question. I don't know.
There's
What
kind
if
of
it takes a lot
What
for
is
them
scary
to
about that?
communicate?
Okay.
This is centipede. Listen,
Listen.
centipedes and millipedes are technically not insects.
What?
Meredith. Insects have 6 legs. Centipedes and millipedes have a lot more than that. So these are a different group. They're called class Chilopoda. And you can tell a centipede because it has a single pair of legs for each segment. That segment has 2 legs, that segment has 2 legs, and so forth. Centipedes are carnivores. They sting and kill prey and eat them. They can sting people.
Like Meredith.
Somebody said, hey, bro. Yeah.
Did you know that camel spiders aren't actually spiders?
Camel spiders?
Yeah.
I didn't know what a camel spider was.
Yeah,
Well, it's not a spider, that's for sure.
yeah, because they have 10 legs.
What are they?
Nobody knows.
So that they would be, are they an arthropod?
They're in like Iraq and stuff.
Yeah, they're like these,
Yeah.
they're like these
They're
big
big.
spiders. They're like hairy. Well, I guess not spiders.
Well,
They're
very
big,
hairy.
10-legged things that kill
They're
people.
like worms and
I don't know what they are.
they have gangs.
So centipedes are the carnivores. They differ from millipedes. Oh, there's a centipede. They differ from millipedes. Millipedes are the herbivores. They have 2 pairs of legs per segment. They're not poisonous. They eat leaves. And you can see there's 2 pairs of legs on each segment of a millipede, and they won't sting you either.
How many legs do they have?
I think I have a video
Well,
showing.
millipede means.
There's no second they have.
See the millipede?
Do you think they have that many legs?
They don't really have 1,000 legs.
Yeah, that's why I asked.
Millipede means 1,000 legs, but they don't have that many. Centipede means 100 legs, and they don't have that many either. I don't know who named them.
Someone.
Okay, so all that is 26.3. Oh wait,
Remember
I
the
forgot
first.
one thing.
Remember the first one I saw had 1,000 legs and a million legs.
Yeah,
No.
maybe? No.
Probably not.
Well, don't you shut up?
You should.
Maybe back in the day they were genetically bigger.
Hey, don't go back to the damn bullets.
The first, listen, last thing before the video. The first
Horseshoe crab.
oldest insects were the trilobites, the oldest arthropods. Arthropods all evolved from some organisms that came around in the Paleozoic era, and we have fossils of them today. I don't know if you remember the fossil lab we did, but I have a trilobite fossil, and they are the ancestors of all the insects and spiders and also the crayfish and lobsters. They all came from these things, trilobites, that swam around in the ocean and had the exoskeleton. They left a lot of fossils, and so we have those today. There's another type of fossil form called a tardigrade that's also related, but I don't have a picture of that. So, you read 26.3. A lot of the stuff I just talked about is here, so I wanted to show you this. If we don't finish this, I'll try to finish it next time. Here we go.
Can I go to the bathroom?
Yes.
As soon as the video starts.
Can I turn it off?
Yes, you can turn that off.
No